Hello again, my name is Zero Ash and this is Zero Ash Podcast. Today we're going to talk about an album that has become quite a disappointment for me, despite the fact that I liked almost all the previous releases of this artist. In particular, his previous album Hexada was one of my favorite albums of 2017, especially in the genre of aggressive new school rap. What I really liked about it was the combination of hip-hop flow and industrial stylistic details that really made the album stand out among all the rest. As for the current album, I doubt that it's the best in his career, though I admit that the level of experimentation was more than high here, which is a plus for me, and for sure it's always a plus to experiment in music. In short, it's up to you whether you listen to this album or not, though I'd rather not listen to it in future, and here's my reasons why. As you know, or you maybe don't know, Ghostemane is a young rapper from Florida, famous for his aggressive and fast-paced flow and use of really noisy and industrial instrumentals for his tracks. In my Russian-speaking channel, I reviewed his previous album Hexada, which I really liked, and with this album I expected something more noisy, something more aggressive, something more industrial, while preserving the hip-hop style of Ghostemane that have made him famous in the first place. So let's see what we've got in reality. The 10th, so it's 10th album of Ghost, called Noise, which is an abbreviation from the line "No one is safe from evil", with cover art from the album, it features this dark picture of hand covered with multiple scars and holding a bone saw, on which the album's title is written with blood. I suppose it's not real blood, right? I hope so. All in all, the album's title and its cover art suggest that the album will depict dark and aggressive themes featuring symbols of self-harm, pain, blood, etc. And after having listened to this album, I'd like to say that it delivers in full on this promise. So, the atmosphere of the album is more than dark, more than depressive and full of self-tortures. However, having looked at the album's lyrics more attentively, we can see that there is not much to it in terms of depicting actually strong or even shocking themes associated with the aforementioned vibe of the album. The lyrics tend to depict feelings of loneliness, causing addictions, mental disorders, occasions of self-harm, etc. I don't know why it is the case here, but I really feel like these themes are being delivered more like artificial, creative concepts than the actual life experiences. Though I won't doubt, of course, I won't doubt if the depicted actions happen to Ghost's real life, cause I don't know for sure, I just express my feeling to it. In other words, the atmosphere of the album is great, but I cannot say that the lyrics about self-mutilation, BDSM, blood, suicide, addictions, etc. were delivered on a high level in order to emphasize it even more. What is more important, I remember when the last album was full of esoteric, religious and other creative symbols complementing the overall lyrical framework of the album. Here it's not the case. I think that this album was supposed to represent raw feelings of Ghost and depict his depressive, addictive and suicidal tendencies, but in reality the actual lyrics didn't work for me, unfortunately. And it's not only the lyrics, it's the musical content as well. Don't know, maybe it was the problem with my headphones or with my music playing app, but the biggest flaw of the musical content here is the mixing and mastering. Of course, the strange noises, the overdriven basses and use of live guitars, drums and extreme vocals worked on a decent level, I admit that. However, the actual placement of vocal lines behind the instrumentation didn't do any good to the album. Traditionally, from aggressive music, usually, you would expect to deliver these aggressive themes, aggressive vocals, aggressive whatever, aggressive content, and it is being always put up front to create this feeling of kick and punch to the listener's ears with every line and scream. Maybe that's why the lyrics of the album didn't work great for me, because they were like clearly hidden behind the noisy and too loud instrumentals. The original Ghostemane's flow is here. His changes of flow from low pitch slow tempo to high pitch high tempo are still there and still create the impression that Ghost's flow represents both of Suicide Boys' flow performed by one person, to be honest. I'm also quite impressed, really, by his clean vocal singing, which we can hear in the opening intro track and occasionally in the rest of the tracks throughout the album. Occasionally, I didn't like the overall repetitiveness of the beats. Yes, of course, it's rap, repetitiveness, it's a common thing, but it was sometimes too repetitive here, especially in track Flash, featuring these kick drum rolls and noisy breakdowns. It's really sad that they were not developed into fully aggressive metal or noise track. Instead, they were followed by rather bizarre and laughable bass buzz, which made me really laugh and feel what the fuck was that? I'm also quite uncertain about the instrumental tracks Android's Dream of Electric Sheep and Acoustic Closing track. To be honest, I cannot say I like them or not, but anyway, we can live with that. Nonetheless, as I have said, I appreciate the fact that Ghostemane tries his best to create something new and merge noise, metal and hip-hop music. I admit that the very fact that this album made me uncertain about whether I liked it or not already makes it worth your attention. I think so. However, I'm more than sure that with better mixing and more careful song production, this album would have been better and would benefit much more. For now, it's 3 out of 5, but it could have been better, for sure. So, that's it for now. Thanks for listening. If you like this podcast, please give it a like. If you're here for the first time, please consider subscribing. Leave a comment about whether you listened to this album or not, whether you liked it or not, and about what should I review next in my future podcast. Also, click the links in the description below and follow me on social media and on Patreon if you want to support me. So, that's it for now. Thanks for listening once again, and you'll hear me next time. Goodbye.